Prabhupada and our Guru Maharaj. So today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Radha Vinodini Mataji, and she is going to continue with the verses of our series. And today's verse will be Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 16. So Radha Vinodini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev. Thank you so much, Mataji, for your time and association today. I request you to please take over the call, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Also, I have made you co-host, Mataji. If you need to share, you can share.
Thank you.
And whenever you need my help, Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to Guru Maharaj. So, as the Mataji said, we will continue with the verses. From Srimad Bhagavatam. This is Canto 1, Chapter 9, verse 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So the verses. Nahyasya karhichid rajan umandeda viditsitam yad vijigyasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. Srila Prabhupada's translation. O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord, Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The bewilderment of Maharaj Yudhishthir over his past sinful acts and the resultant sufferings, etc., is completely negated by the great authority Bhishma, one of the 12 authorized persons. Bhishma wanted to impress upon Maharaj Yudhishthir that since time immemorial, no one, including such demigods as Shiva and Brahma, could ascertain the real plan of the Lord. So what can we understand about it? It is useless also to inquire about it. Even the exhaustive philosophical inquiries of sages cannot ascertain the plan of the Lord. The best policy is simply to abide by the orders of the Lord without argument. The sufferings of the Pandavas were never due to their past deeds. The Lord had to execute the plan of establishing the kingdom of virtue, and therefore his own devotees suffer temporarily in order to establish the conquest of virtue. Bhishma Dev was satisfied by seeing the triumph of virtue, and he was glad to see King Yudhishthir on the throne, although he himself fought against him. Even a great fighter like Bhishma could not win the battle of Kurukshetra, because the Lord wanted to show that vice cannot conquer virtue, regardless of who tries to execute it. Bhishma Deva was a great devotee of the Lord, but he chose to fight against the Pandavas by the will of the Lord, because the Lord wanted to show that a fighter like Bhishma cannot win on the wrong side. Chakshuram militam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschyate Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Chandramani Swaminiti Namine. Dear devotees, I just thought of sharing at first some personal experience about we many times hear about this topic that we cannot really understand Krishna's plan. still it happens that we somehow try to in some way manipulate him. So this happened to me also, that there was one kind of service which originally, when I came to Krishna consciousness, I could do many times, and I was very much attached to it. But due course of time, it was not so much possible, and I became quite frustrated. And many times I discussed this topic with counselors and friends, and many times I got this, let's say, this advice that this is certainly because you have this attachment for this service, and you know, whenever there is this kind of attachment, that obviously it's transcendental to be attached to serve Krishna. But when we are attached to serve in a certain way, it's not so much transcendental. So it was obviously, in my case, it was a material desire. So they told me that if you manage to get rid of this attachment, then probably Krishna will give it to you. You just have to be more detached. And I was thinking about it a lot, because I thought I saw also examples when someone was very detached and still didn't get the chance to do some certain kind of things. And I realized that obviously the main point is to be detached, but when I'm detached, both getting the service or not getting the service is fine, because if I get it, yeah, I get it and I'm happy for that. But if I don't get it, because I'm detached, it's not frustrating anymore. So Krishna can do whatever way he wants to do. And when we think this way, that okay, I will be detached, then Krishna will give me what I want. It's, you know, it's like wanting to manipulate him, and it's easy to fall into this kind of wrong mentality, even while being a devotee. So obviously we can see that Krishna is unpredictable. So many times we see that when it's about our karma, our sufferings, it's not possible to predict what will happen. So many times, you know, when something bad happens to us, many times even devotees hurt us. And I heard about many times, even felt it, that, oh, this person did something bad to me, and I want him or her to feel the same way. And, you know, having this feeling of revenge, and we become frustrated because we cannot see this to happen. So why can that devotee just go away with doing things like that? And many times something bad happens to us, and then we feel that, oh, I'm such a good person, I did nothing wrong, I had all the good intentions, and why this bad thing happened to me? And we know from the scriptures that in the whole world, everything is just. Everything is there is justice. So it's not like that someone can do anything wrong and just get away with it. And it's also not possible that someone gets suffering without deserving it. Here in this verse, actually, we see the only example when sometimes the pure devotees of Krishna voluntarily accept some kind of suffering for the benefit of the living entities, for those jivas who need to progress towards Krishna. But otherwise, it's just not possible to get some kind of suffering which I didn't deserve. But many times we don't see the reasons, we don't see the cause. So it's very much unpredictable when we get what we deserve, and how will we get what we deserve. Also, many times we cannot predict how will Krishna give his mercy. So I remember there was one case when I was really confused about one devotee whom I thought that she's many times criticizing devotees. And, you know, this is one of the worst apparads, doing Vaishnava apparat, and still she seems to be getting so much mercy. And it's not that I wanted something bad to happen to her. It's just I was confused that how is it possible when we hear about what are the consequences, or, for example, criticizing. And in the end, I turned to my counselor to please help me understand somehow this situation. And my counselor told me at that time that also this same principle, that we cannot really understand Krishna's plans, because it might be that this devotee wouldn't be able to practice Krishna consciousness any other way. She has to get all this mercy to be able to stay. And it was a totally new perspective for me, that understanding that, yeah, there are other aspects also, not just what we deserve. Krishna also considers so many different things. What helps us in our Krishna consciousness, what we deserve, when we should get some kind of results in order to be able to progress, what we are able to bear at that moment, how will it react to other devotees, other people in general. So also our present karma, what is possible right now. So many times, actually, we see, you know, we used to say that we act according to time, place, and circumstances. But our vision of time, place, and circumstances are very much limited. So we see a very limited period of time, a very limited place, and also very limited of the circumstances. His Holiness Bhaktividya Purna Swami Maharaj used to speak about this, that these circumstances are actually the qualifications of the people involved in the situation. So many times I just realized that I cannot even see my own qualifications properly. What to speak about all the other people's qualifications who are involved in some situations. So it's not possible to see what is the proper way to act. But Krishna sees everything. So for him, it's not difficult to see how to manage things in a way that everybody will benefit in some way. And yeah, there is this story about how much we can see of what's actually happening. You know, Guru Maharaj also used to narrate this story. The story is of this sweeper in the temple, who day by day was sweeping the temple, cleaning the temple, and was just looking at Krishna's deity. And one day he was thinking that, oh, it must be really, really tiring to stand there all day and just accept all the people's, all the devotees' prayers and everything else. So one day he just thought that, okay, I will ask the Lord, maybe for one day I could change places with him, and I could do his job, and whatever he wants to do, he could have some rest. So just in a very innocent way, he went to the deity and proposed his suggestion. And after all, the Lord Krishna accepted it and told him that, okay, for the next day, for one day, you will stand here in my place. But there is one thing which you should know. Whatever happens, you just stand here, smile, give benedictions, and don't involve whatever happens. So you don't do anything. The sweeper thought that, oh, okay, it's not a difficult thing. Yeah, I will be able to do it. So the next day came, and the sweeper was standing there as the Lord's deity. So many people came, and at one point, one rich person came, and he gave a big donation and just started to pray that, please, my dear Lord, let me prosper even more. I'm waiting for one big business, and I hope it will be really successful. Just please give me your blessings, so I will be successful. And he just went away. But while he was going away, his purse with lots of money fell out of his pocket. And so he went away. After that, one very poor person came, and he just put one small valued coin as donation. He gave it to the Lord, and he started to pray also. He was praying for, please, my dear Lord, let me serve you the best way possible. I would like to please you very much. But we are very unfortunate right now. I don't know how will I be able to take care of my family, because we are very poor at this moment. So I just hope I will be able to give the proper protection to them. And he also paid obeisances, and while he was doing that, he found the purse which fell off the pocket of the rich man. So this poor person became really happy. He thought that, oh, my dear Lord, you gave me all this money. Thank you very much. I will nicely use it in your service. And he just went away. So this sweeper was standing there till now, and he couldn't do anything because he promised to do so. And somehow he could manage it till now. But then the third person came. It was a sailor who started to pray that, my dear Lord, tomorrow I will have to travel again on the seas, and please take care of me, that I will be able to come back safely. And while he was praying there, the rich man came back and started to look for his purse. And also the police came with him. And the rich man said that, yeah, this is where my purse fell off of my pocket, and surely this sailor took it. So the policeman arrested this sailor, who tried to protect himself and said that he didn't do anything wrong, but they didn't listen to him. And the sweeper was still standing there, but he thought, oh, I promised to Krishna that I won't interfere. I really cannot do anything. But at that point, the sailor started to pray really, really intensely that, please, my dear Lord, you saw that I didn't do anything wrong. Please protect me from these men. And at that point, this sweeper just couldn't tolerate it anymore. And so he spoke up that the sailor didn't do anything wrong. So really the purse fell off here, but one other man took it. So the rich man was happy that, okay, he will find who took the purse. The sailor was released. He was also happy. And everything went on for the day. And in the evening, Krishna came and asked what happened. And this person told him whatever happened. And Krishna really became upset about this situation, because he said that, I told you not to interfere, because my plans are always perfect. It's good for everyone. Actually, this rich man was he had not lawful businesses. He stole this money from others, and yeah, he gave some donation, but he kept for this from this money much more for himself. But this other man, who was really poor, he needed this money, and also he would have used it in my service. So this would have also benefited the rich man. And about this sailor who wanted to travel the next day, actually he will get into a big storm, and he would have died. And the plan was that he's arrested, but because they cannot find the money, he would be released the next day. So he couldn't have traveled, and this way he would have survived. And this was the plan, but you interfered, so this cannot happen now. And please have faith in my plans that this is beneficial for all. So this story very nicely describes what is the difference between the Lord's vision and our vision, how limited we are. And yeah, we just want to avoid suffering. Actually, I will show this purport. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada says here, similarly, undesirable happenings in life cannot be checked by any number of plans. Such miseries can be removed only by the mercy of the Lord, who sends his bona fide representatives to enlighten human beings and thus save them from all calamities. So we have our plans to avoid suffering, but it's just not possible. It's not possible because we cannot see what will come. So we can do whatever plan we want to, but it will probably not work. And we can just depend on the mercy of the Lord. And also we desire enjoyment, we desire happiness, but we can also do whatever we want. We cannot make sure that these things will come. Many times we just collect all the money to buy a big house, and after many years of collecting the money, the bank just goes bankrupt, and all the money is lost. And there was so much effort, and it's just gone. You know, we cannot do whatever we want to do. And I remember one of my relatives, my aunt, many years ago. Sometimes she did this lottery, you know, to win some money. And on one occasion, she told me that, yeah, I promised to God that if I win this lottery right now, I mean, not right now, but this one, this ticket, then I will pay for the restorement of the temple, the church here. And you know, if God wants this church to be restored, repaired, then he can do whatever way he wants to do it. But we just want to manipulate God again, you know, and it's just not possible. So he sees our heart and our intentions, so we won't succeed with all this. So the question comes, what to do then? So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna that I tell you this Bhagavad Gita because you are a devotee and a friend of mine. And what it means actually to be the friend of Krishna, to be Krishna's friend. It means that there is trust, there is faith, and also that there is service, there is the desire to please him. So one thing is this trust. It means that whatever plans Krishna have, I trust that those are good. And I want to follow those. And I want to accept, at first to accept these plans. And faith is not something that, you know, there are these different levels of our spiritual journey, which starts with Shraddha, this Adho Shraddha actually. But Shraddha is something which grows and grows even when we reach the higher levels of bhakti. So we just have to work on our faith to be stronger and stronger, so that nothing can check it in a way that we lose our faith. So we really have to have faith in Krishna's plans, and we have to develop this faith. And the other thing is that we have to follow Krishna's plans. So we have to act in a way that that's synchronized with Krishna's plans. And just to compare our plans again with his plans, because many times it's difficult. What are Krishna's plans? And maybe my plans are better. Sometimes we think this. And Srila Prabhupada used to tell one story about a potter. And this potter was planning that, okay, now I have a few pots and I will sell these and I will have some profit. So I will make 10 pots of this. Then I will sell those 10 pots, and from the profit I will make 20. Then I will sell those, and I can make 30, 40, 50, and I will have more and more pots. I will be rich. Then I will have a nice wife, and maybe if my wife is not so obedient, then I will just kick her. And at that moment, he kicked really with his legs, and unfortunately, he kicked in a way that he kicked these pots, and all of them broke. And that was the end of all his plans. So this is the result of our plans. But Krishna's plans are different. One thing is that Krishna's plans bring happiness. Maybe not immediately. Maybe we will have to wait for it, because, you know, the mode of goodness is that first it's poison, and then comes the nectar. So we will have to wait for happiness sometimes. It will surely bring happiness. So Srila Prabhupada said about this, that if you follow Krishna's instruction, you will always be happy. And if you create your own plans, then you will be unhappy. This is the whole instruction. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja. You give up your own plans, nonsense plan. You take my plan. You will be happy. This is the whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita, to take Krishna's plan, and then you will be happy. So this is one point. Another point is that we got free will. So we can do whatever we want, but this is limited, you know. So we have our own free will, but just imagine that I would like to be friends with another person. I have the free will to decide that I want to be his or her friend, but he or she also has the free will to decide if he or she wants to be my friend. So this is one thing which actually make our free will limited. Other living beings, but also the whole nature, just everything limits us. So we can decide if we are going to our own, according to our plans, or if we go according to Krishna's plan. But there will be a difference that. But Krishna's plans will come through whatever we do. Because we can be the tool for achieving one plan, but if we are not there, then someone else will be there. So Srila Prabhupada said in this regard that Krishna said, "My dear Arjuna, you are thinking that you will save your relatives, but you are wrong. It is already planned. Those who come here, they must be killed. That is already my plan. You simply become an instrument. Nimitta matram bhava Savyasachin. So when Arjuna understood that it is Krishna's plan, then I am servant of Krishna, I must satisfy Krishna. Krishna therefore asked Arjuna, now after hearing my instruction in the Bhagavad Gita, what you are going to do? Krishna said. Arjuna replied, Nasto moha smriti labda. My Lord Krishna, my illusion is now over. Smriti labda. I have got my remembrance. Everything belongs to you. For your satisfaction, everything must be done. Yes, I will fight. This is Krishna consciousness. So Arjuna had the free will, so he could have chosen anything else. He could have gone to the forest, but he chose to be the instrument of Krishna's plan. And actually, Krishna also told him that, you can go to the forest. It's possible for you. But you are a Kshatriya, you are a fighter. So even if you go to the forest, fight will also find you, even in the forest. So you cannot escape that. So we can have the consequences that we have the free will. We can try to avoid Krishna's plans, but Krishna's plans in whole will just come true, even if we are the instrument or others. But if we follow his plans, then we will be happy. Otherwise, if we just follow our ignorance, then we know ignorance brings suffering. So these are our possibilities. And Srila Prabhupada said one thing about what is real plan. The last plan is Sarva Dharmam Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. This is the real plan. Krishna has given so many plans, Karma Yogi, Dhyana Yogi, this yogi, that yogi. But everywhere he has concluded that the real plan is how to become Krishna conscious. That is the real plan. So one thing is that, okay, we want to follow Krishna's plan. So should we plan anything after all? This question obviously comes up because we also hear many times that those who are pure devotees, they actually don't endeavor for anything for themselves. In a sense, they don't have, they don't have material plans. They have plans for sure. I remember I heard something about like Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote so many nice Vaishnava songs, and in those he plans what will he do in his next life meaning the spiritual body. What will he do when he will be able to serve Radha and Krishna? So there are plans, obviously, but these pure devotees don't have plans for their material lives. They just plan for whatever is spiritual, and their plans are totally according to Krishna's plans. So in our case, should we not plan anything? This is not the answer. Srila Prabhupada also said that we cannot imitate these souls. So we have to plan because in our level, on most of our levels, it's not possible not to make any plans. But we can try to, one thing is to try to follow Krishna's plans. And the other is that if we plans just don't succeed, we shouldn't be attached to these plans. So we should be flexible about these things. And one last question about this. How can we know if we are following Krishna's plans? So I many times also have these questions, when these practical things come up. And one thing is that if we are most of us are on the level of sadhana bhakti. And if we are doing our sadhana properly, that's according to Krishna's plan, because he gave this process to us, and because he expects us to follow these practices. So when we are following our sadhana, when we are doing these practices, then we can be sure that this is according to Krishna's plan. On the other hand, when some practical things come up, or how we should follow sadhana, because for example, these numbers are not the same for everyone. So I've heard about, for example, that when a devotee couple got retired, Shivanam Maharaj asked them to, I don't remember, maybe for 1 year or some years, to do that. They chant 64 rounds each and every day, and maybe 2 hours or even more. So for them, that was the instruction, and this came from the Guru. So when we are following the Guru, then his instructions, then we can be sure that we are following Krishna's plan. And in this verse, we read about it that even Lord Shiva and Brahma, they cannot understand the Lord's plan. So how is it possible that the Guru understands the Lord's plan? And this is because Krishna reveals his plans for him. In our case, the super soul is there in our hearts, and he's constantly speaking to us. It's just our senses are not pure enough, and we are not able to hear what he tells us. But all these special souls, spiritual masters, and other elevated devotees, pure devotees, their senses, their minds, their hearts are purified, so they are tuned into Krishna's messages. And Krishna reveals to them what to do. And I heard about one, it was a funny story. One mataji here in Hungary, she told that on one occasion, she wrote a letter to his guru, to her guru, Shivanam Maharaj. And she just wrote that this happened and that happened, and I felt like this way, that way, but you already know that. So this was in the letter. And later on, Shivanam Maharaj told him that, I cannot see your thoughts. I'm not a telepathic person. I know what Krishna wants me to know. So Krishna tells the Guru whatever is needed for his service. And that's how we can be sure that whatever instruction he gives to us is coming from Krishna, because Krishna reveals this. And just one last quote from Srila Prabhupada, which I thought is very encouraging to close this, this presentation. Srila Prabhupada wrote in one letter that, so do not feel discouraged at all. By Krishna's plan, everything will come out for the best. We have only to work very, very sincerely, depending fully on the mercy of the Lord. And in this consciousness, we can make very quick advancement in Krishna consciousness. So this is what I plan to say today. So we can open up for discussion.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. That was such a beautiful presentation. It was such an interesting topic, and you shared so many points about it. It's about Krishna's plan. And thank you so much for sharing all the stories and also the very interesting presentation. Thank you so much. Now we will open it for questions or to share any reflections. So please feel free to ask questions or share any reflections or your. We would like to hear from all of you. So please go ahead. You can either raise your hand or put your question or a reflection in the chat. I'm sure there will be questions or reflections. Everyone experiences about Krishna's plan, I'm sure. So please go ahead. Anybody would like to go? Yes, Mother Scarlett, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada, all glories to His Holiness Chandramuni, and all glories to you. You say, you talk about we have free will, that we can decide. You hear me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you
yes.
hear me? Okay, okay.
Yes.
But then I have read many times that Lord Krishna says, I'm the controller of your senses, of your thought, of everything. So how is this could be that I have free will when everything is controlled by Lord Krishna? Everything. I believe everything is controlled by Krishna. If Lord Krishna doesn't want it, no, it will not happen. Even if I chose it, it will not happen because he doesn't want it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I think so. So free will doesn't mean that I can do anything what I want. Free will is, as I mentioned, our free will is limited. So we have limited choices. So for example, in Arjuna's case, he could decide if he wants to fight in the Kurukshetra war, or he just leaves everything and goes to the forest. Obviously, for example, it wasn't a choice that, okay, I don't fight and we will all live peacefully together, because there were other living entities there who were in the way, because the core weren't so peaceful. So obviously it wasn't a choice, but he could decide if I want to fight or if I don't want to fight. But even in that case, Krishna told him that even if you don't want to fight and you go to the forest, fight will find you. So he had a limited free will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is this is it answering your question?
Not 100%. Still, I believe everything is under his demand, as it should be. He's the creator, of course. So I believe when he decides or when he wants us to do something, to act in some way which he decide this is the time that you act this way or to do this way, it will happen. Even if I say no, I'm not going to do, even if I go in a box and close myself, it will happen because he has decided, because he wanted me to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know,
it's not 100% my choice.
If this were really like that, then why would he want us to go through all this process of growing in devotional service? Because our devotional service is voluntarily. So, you know, he could force
us. It's because of purifies us. No, because it's like we need to go through this process just to be purified, to get where we are in the way where we want to, or where we.
Yeah, but what
you know what I
purification means? What does it mean to be purified?
Just that when you do things for him, for his, for instance, I believe the temple is his house. So if you are going to his house and do things for him, and it's not because you want to have pay for it, you do it just because you want to do it for this house, period. You don't have any back thoughts. Only you. Of course, I have my back thoughts that please, just I don't want to be born again. Of course, I'm honest. I pray for not to be born again. Of course, I do it. But it's not the material way of to have something about it, to be rich for it, to buy house for it. It's not that. I do it to please him. I do it in his house. And I hope and pray, please, Lord Krishna, I don't want to be born in this life again, in this, what it is, in this not reality. You know what I mean? But I do things for his house. It's in his house I do it. And because I go in his house, then I have to go through some process so that I get purified for more and more for him.
Yeah, but
not
you know,
because
purification means that actually that we want everything for his pleasure. That's the process of purification. And it means that I want to please him and I want to follow his plans because I want to follow his plans. So how to say it? Krishna gives us free will, but this expression of love, this devotional service is voluntarily. And he wants us to want to do it by our own free will. And that's the process of purification. Yeah, also part of it that we get rid of our karma, but that's also, how to say, also binding us from having our personal agendas. But the main point is that we get our free will in order to want to please him. That this is our free will in the end, and this is the process of devotional service. That in the beginning we have all our other kind of desires. That I want to have a safe financial background. I want to have a nice husband. I want to have a car, nice job. I want to have a healthy body. And this is the beginning. The very beginning is like this. And the end is that there is nothing as important for me, just the pleasure of Krishna. And this makes me happy. And this is the process of devotional development. And that's what Krishna wants for us to achieve this state that from our free will, we want to please him. Because he could force us, but what's the point? You know, if I have lots and lots of slaves who are serving me because they have to, there is no pleasure in that for him. He could do that.
No, excuse me. I don't believe it's like slavery. It's like the father who has the children, who has these children, he has take care of or give the possibility to have things.
No, it's not slavery.
No, it's not. Exactly.
No, it's not. Father. I just mentioned that if there wouldn't be free will, and he could force us to make this service for him, that would be slavery. But it's not, because there is free will and we can decide whatever we want. And we can do our devotional service from our free will, from our desire.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You still not seem to be convinced.
It's okay. Thank you.
Sorry if I couldn't properly.
Please don't say that. Please. Thank you very much. Please don't say that. You don't have anything to be sorry for. Thank you very much.
You're muted now. We cannot hear you.
I'm so sorry. Please don't say you are sorry. Please. it's me. I have headache, so I can't concentrate very well to say it maybe right way. So please don't say you're sorry. You have said it very nicely, but I have difficulty to say what I meant. So please, thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you, Mother Scarlett, for your question. Thank you, Mataji, for explaining it so beautifully. Thank you. Asha Mataji, please go ahead. You're on mute, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my sentences. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My question was that when I identify myself, for example, when I identify myself with the house or with any of the things, then my mobility is greatly restricted. So when I identify with the body, the limitations of body are mine. Similarly, the emotions of the mind, the ignorance of the intellect. So who is the one who is having the free will? Because the soul is something like the clay. So, it existed even when the pot was there. It existed even when the pot is broken, because it's always there. So the soul is something like that. It is not touched by any of these things. So who is the one who makes the free will? Is the person who identifies with the body and who is having that emotions of the mind and ignorance of the intellect, that is the one who is having the free will? Or the soul is the one who is having the free will?
The soul is having the free will. Actually, how to say, as the mind is contaminated and is affected by the modes of nature, there are some kind of pushings from the mind. For example, like if someone starts to smoke, and a child doesn't want to smoke. There is total free will, so he can decide that, okay, I will smoke this cigarette now, or I won't smoke this cigarette now. And then someone will give to him a cigarette and he tries it. And at first it won't be a good experience, but maybe he tries it 2 or 3 times, and the mind will be attached to smoking. And actually from that time, the mind will have this attachment, and some free will be lost to some extent. The more he smokes, the more free will about smoking will be lost, actually. So with a pure mind, the mind is also, because it's pure, then it has the free will. But the contaminated mind is, pulled by the modes of nature. There is this picture, you probably also saw it, that when in the sky there are the 3 modes of nature, and there are different ropes connected to the body, to arms and legs, and they just pull the living entity through the senses and through the mind, when these are contaminated. So originally the soul has free will, and also when it manifests this total free will, when he's purified.
So because with my experience, what I have seen is that the mistakes, if I had done something, I think I had the free will. I had the free will because there is something that reminds you that this is not right. I think that is I don't know if that's the soul having the free will saying that this is not right, and the contaminated mind is going that way because it is already contaminated with the material existence of the material world. But when your mind is away from that identification of I, and when you're out of that identification with the body, mind as so and so, then I think the free will acts much more in a better way, because you are much more knowing what is right, where you have to go, what you have to decide. It's God's will. You have to please God. You cannot do something that would displease God. The free will acts much more stronger and much more nicer way than when the mind and the body is attached with that I identification in the contaminated material world. So there is a little bit of difference.
Yeah, but
because
there is another part which is missing from the picture, and that is the intelligence.
yeah.
Because discriminating properly what is good and what is bad is coming from the intelligence. Because the mind also discriminates that I like this and I like that. In that sense, there is discrimination. But what is right and what is not right, it's coming from the intelligence. And lately, I was listening to one of Bhuta Bhavana Prabhu's classes, and someone asked him that why it happens that sometimes there are so intelligent people who still doesn't want to follow the spiritual path. And he said that intelligence is actually like a machine, and you put some input, and as an output, something will come out of it. And the intelligence processes what it got. But depending on what you feed the intelligence with, depending on that, something will come out. So that's why it's so important, for example, what you read, what you hear, because
Yep.
it's something spiritual, then something good will come out, and your discrimination, what is right and what is wrong, will be proper. And
Yeah, I remember I also read somewhere, I heard somewhere from some of the Prabhujis that the intellect is like a vessel, an empty vessel. Whatever you fill in the intellect, that is what will come out from the vessel. So you have to make sure that so that the intelligence is filled with whatever you read, whatever you hear, and then that would the intellect will then direct the mind, and the mind will get attracted with what you have filled in with. If it is filled, the intellect is filled in with all the things that is not which is negative or which has bad effects or which is going to give you bad things when you read or listen something which is not appropriate, then the mind will get attracted to that. So that's what I heard from some of the Prabhujis, that you have to fill the intellect with what is good for the mind to collect from the intellect.
Yeah, it's just, sometimes the problem comes when there is a disagreement between the mind and the intelligence. And that used to be the problem, because sometimes I know that, okay, there is this nice chocolate cake, and it's so attractive. And I imagine that, when it melts in my mouth and it's so tasty, and I want to eat it. But my intelligence says that, it's 9 o'clock in the evening, so I shouldn't eat this chocolate cake. And actually, I've eaten 2 slices already today. And so the intelligence and the mind want 2 different things. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that the intelligence is superior to the mind. So we have the possibility to follow the intelligence instead of the mind. And if the mind is regulated, then after some time, it will follow the intelligence. Are you still here?
Looks like there is some connection issues there. It's hanged.
Yeah.
Maybe Mataji will join back. But thank you so much, Mataji, for explaining it so beautifully about the intelligence. And
it's a very interesting topic.
I think yes, and it's also true that whatever we feed to intelligence, accordingly, we get the reaction of the intelligence, right? The response from the intelligence. Whatever we feed, we get that back. So, but sometimes we also say that even the Paramatma guides us, right, Mataji, from within.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you properly.
Our intelligence.
I couldn't hear you
Paramatma
properly.
also guides us from within. Paramatma, our super soul. Can you hear me?
Sorry,
Mataji?
I don't know if I have only. It has echo, and also your voice is breaking up.
I think there are some connection issues at my end also. Can I just
now
write
it's good.
on my chat? It's fine now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. sorry for all that. My laptop is very slow, and I think there are some connection issues today here also. So I was also thinking that even Paramatma guides us from within. Am I right, Mataji? So can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
So how do we know that it's Paramatma guiding us, or it's our intelligence, or
You know, I would be happy if I could say that I know how the Paramatma communicates. I remember once one devotee here in Hungary said that Shivaram Maharaj asked the devotees, you don't hear Paramatma, you don't communicate with him, and it sounded like something easy, you know. But and also he said that, for example, when we are with the deities are constantly communicating with us. It's just because of our contaminated senses, we don't hear them, what they say. And in one sense, it's so encouraging. What are the possibilities that we can communicate with Krishna in so many ways? But on another, in another way, it's like, you know, it's quite sobering that this is my level now, that it's really a difficulty for me. So, but there are some times when we have this this little sound in us that, you know, you should do this, you should do that, and it's just sometimes it's not easy to make a difference between the sound of the mind and the sound of the super soul. And yeah, I don't know actually if there is a fixed recipe what to follow to discriminate between the two, but yeah, he's there, and he's giving the advices, the guru inside us. So I wish I could tell something something more.
no, Mataji, the knowledge which you're sharing is actually so helpful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, Namrata Mataji wrote in the chat this Guru Sadhu Shastra, and yeah, the super soul also communicates through all these. Thank you very much.
Thank you much. Revati Mataji has a question or reflection. Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, sorry. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Pranam, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for the very, very beautiful class. You explained us about our vision and Lord's vision, right? So Krishna's vision and our vision. Our vision is so much contaminated because of all the conditioning in our heart, right? So a lot of times we put efforts, either spiritual, for the spiritual progress or material progress, but we end up like, you know, not reaching that goal. So I'm just trying to understand, as you already explained, like, you know, it's very important to understand our Krishna's plan towards us so we can progress spiritually, right? So as you said, like sadhana, right? So sadhana is very important. So when you practice sadhana, we can progress, we can understand Krishna's plan. So you have any other suggestion, Mataji, in that? Because a lot of times we speculate and we are in ignorance. We think like, you know, that's like our Krishna's plan, that's Guru's plan. I think it's the same question addressed by Mataji also. I feel like most of the time I speculate. It's like that. So how can we come out of that, you know, speculation? Like, most of the time mind is dictating you, and as you said, like intelligence, you know, we are trying, we are listening, everything, but instead of all that endeavor, we try to, you know, speculate a lot. So how can we break that cycle, and how can we come out of that? Like
well, a few things which came into my mind now is one is that you know, looking for the association of senior devotees is always very, very helpful, because sometimes, in my case, I used to experience that sometimes I just forget about the goal, that what it's like when someone has a pure love of God, and what it's like when someone can be in a relationship with Krishna. And when one thing is that they can share their realizations with us, and they can be amazing. And also another thing is that that we can see the example, that there are people actually who succeeded, and what it looks like when someone succeeded. And it's really inspiring. And I just remember there was one occasion when I was doing a research about Kirtan for Guru Maharaj, and Kirtan history, actually. And there was one section about those Kirtaniyas who lived in Srila Prabhupada's times. And for, I don't know, maybe 2 days, I was reading about Vishnujan Maharaj and Yamuna Mataji, and different stories about them, different pastimes. And I just felt that for 2 days, I was being into these stories, into their mood. And, it was so uplifting. I just felt that, oh, I really would like to experience this. I really want to go forward to this. And so they can give inspiration, and they can give realization, and also serving them is just, we cannot measure how beneficial it is. And one other thing is that our culture is the culture of following. And actually, we are very fortunate that Guru Maharaj is very accessible. So, he doesn't have so many tens of thousands disciples that we cannot communicate with him regularly. So we can approach him with many questions. But also, we have other senior devotees, authorities, whom we can approach if we have, difficulties in our day-to-day lives, and they have very nice realizations also, which they can share and which can inspire us. So I would really emphasize these 2 points: following and association. Also, obviously, the holy name, the hearing, and all the other process, actually, it's built up in a way that if we follow what Srila Prabhupada gave in the way he gave it, then it naturally takes us forward. One obstacle which I found, which can be very, very problematic, is that when I'm not able to follow something, and I just want to rationalize it. Oh, okay, it's not so important. So maybe I live far from the temple and I cannot go for morning program. And okay, maybe it's not so important. Actually, I'm following the 4 regulative principles and I'm chanting, and morning program is not so important. Or maybe it's not even problematic if I just get up 2 or 3 hours later than what's suggested. So if I do this, that's a problem. If I do that okay, I'm not able to do it, but I try to do it, or maybe I look forward the time when I will be able to do it. That's a different consciousness. So obviously, from one day to another, we won't be able to do everything perfectly. So I don't know if it was helpful.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. As you said, like association and constant endeavor, and developing that mode by reading the realizations of these great souls, and also serving. So, yes, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you so much. All your classes are definitely very beautiful. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Revati Mataji. Yes, Namrata Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our dear Guru Maharaj, and all glories to the assembled devotees.
All glories to them.
Thank you, Mataji. It was a wonderful class with so many points to consider. I don't have a question though right now because I was listening to all the questions, wonderful questions, and you answered many questions itself in your lecture. So just one last thing which you mentioned was very much connecting with me, and I learned from it that there's a difference in when you choose to tell your mind that, oh, that's not so important, and when you have the desire, you can't do it, but you have the desire. So Krishna reciprocates in both these things in a different way. So thank you for making the difference out of this subtle point. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Namrata Mataji. You wanted to say something in the end? You are on mute, actually. I couldn't hear. Okay. So we have Prema Bhakti Prabhu. Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Tantanas Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories to temple devotees on this call. Mataji is a wonderful class, beautiful, everything. I think I like to say what Mataji just mentioned. Yeah, everything is fantastic. You give so beautiful arrangements of classes. Everything you say is really fun, really good. But yeah, Krishna consciousness is, it's so simple, Mataji, just love of God, love of everybody. Especially when, when I'm out, I do a lot of service, get involved with Harinam, meeting people on the street and giving, information about, love of God, and to see them, and for me to give them that, and it's just nice being around Krishna consciousness. So I thank you very much, Mataji, for everything you said. It's Krishna is the master planner. Everything. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your feedback. Yeah, Guru Maharaj used to say that Krishna consciousness is so easy that sometimes we can miss it. So that came. So
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing your comments. Thank you. Yes, this.
Hare Krishna, Radha Vinodini Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a very nice class. I don't have any comments. I was just listening to the discussion. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Glories to Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Srimati Mataji. Any other devotee would like to share any comments, reflections, or ask any question at this point?
Mataji, before ending the class, I have a small announcement for tomorrow's class.
Okay,
Shall I go ahead? I think there are no more questions. Yeah.
Go ahead,
yeah, tomorrow Guru Maharaj is giving class, but it's not the same Zoom link. It's a different Zoom link with different group of devotees. So I'm going to share that Zoom link on WhatsApp, and the time is same as our regular time. That is 12 p.m. UK time and 7 a.m. Eastern. So kindly please check the Zoom link on the WhatsApp and join tomorrow's class. It's on the topic is the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Guru Maharaj is going to glorify Srimad Bhagavatam tomorrow. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, if nobody has any questions, reflections from anybody, then with Mataji's permission, should we end the call here, Mataji? Radha Vinodini Mataji.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your class. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Guru Maharaj's mercy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Your classes
you.
are always so wonderful.
Mm.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for all these points and your wonderful class. I can really feel that how much you must have put efforts and researched. It really gets reflected in your classes, and I really relish your classes, Mataji, always. They're very informative. Thank you so much. Thank you, devotees, for joining, and I would like to pay my obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Her Grace Radha Vinodini Mataji ki jai. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.